we're here to do is really protect the agent's time. So
That's right.
they focus on the hot pipeline, and we're focusing on the other pipelines, the things that are a little bit more cold. We're checking in with people on a regular basis, find out if their time frame has moved either way. So when we talk to somebody who's been in a nurture stage, we find out that they're actually thinking of moving sooner. Well, then through the automation, they get moved up into the hot pipeline now, or potentially we've live transferred that person because they said, hey, yeah, we're actually would like to know the value of our house because we're thinking of moving sooner. Well, that's a live transfer to your team. Whoever's assigned that lead now in the CRM, that's been updated, and now that goes into the agent's workflow on a regular basis. And the same thing can happen. So somebody's been in the hot pipeline. They're in that top 25 people that they're talking with, or 10 people, or whatever it happens to be, and they find out, well, hey, we're actually we can't afford to buy a house right now, we're going to wait another year. So that gets moved into maybe the warm or the cold pipeline, and now the agent isn't following up with that person on a weekly basis.
That's right. Your example was, using NurtureWorks ISA call center, which is great. And if not, flow should still be the same. You just need to make sure you have that support. But now that they've moved into the 6 months, the appropriate action can be happening for them. The agent shouldn't have to call them once a week. They shouldn't have content that talks about buying this week, right? This is more of the longer term conversation or content that's happening in the background. The agent having that top 10 or that top 20 people that they're dealing with. Just out of curiosity, as somebody, with your background and in the field yourself, say you did have 15 people in your hot pipeline. On average, how many of those would you say would actually close within the next 30 days?
Well, the timing can vary because somebody might, I might show houses for 2 months. I mean, agents
Mm-hmm.
out there, you've got people that are looking for houses for a long time, or they're doing prep. Another good example is a client who hasn't signed the listing agreement with you yet, but they're getting their house ready,
Right.
and they want to list it in the next couple of months. Well, that's somebody that really should be in the hot pipeline because they're actively looking to sell, and you want to you're there as a consultant for them, you're there as a resource. So you're checking in with them if they're coordinating with contractors, what have you, to get the house ready. That's somebody that really should be in your hot pipeline. So some of those are not necessarily going to close within 30 days because maybe you don't even have the listing contract yet. But the
Mm-hmm.
important thing is that those are people that need higher more attention because they're ready to launch to whatever the next stage is, signing up you with a contract. Whereas people generally in the warm pipeline, they're people that might be on the fence, or and that is a harsh thing to gauge, but and that's part of why it's always important to be following up with them. But there's some reason that they're likely not going to take a level of commitment within the next 3 months. So that kind of determines the different stages there.
Yeah, and then so, as soon as they do, then you move them to hot, or as soon as you find out other information, then you move them where they need to be. But people should be constant. Nobody should be in the same pipeline for longer than what that time frame indicates. So, like, your example of maybe somebody is hot, but they are still getting the house ready and they need 3 months. Well, now they're warm, right? They're not hot because they need 3 months.
Really, the hot pipeline is the agent should be the one, because they're very close to signing a contract, and that can vary because they may say, hey, I want to do it as soon as I can, so if I can get it done in 2 weeks, great. But lo and behold, something happens, the contractor's in there, they find out there's a bunch of repairs that has to be done, and now it's delayed for a couple of months. But the important thing is that it's within 3 months. So within 3 months, with all variables, this client is going to do something, right?